Welcome to this week's new coffee release. Today it is Tumba, a washed Red Bourbon from Rwanda. In this video I am going to describe how I roasted it, how I think you should brew it, and the kind of flavours that I think you should expect. Now, coffees from Rwanda can be quite difficult to roast, and the reason for this is that the bean sizes tend to be quite small, very dense, and they hold on to an awful lot of moisture that is released on and around first crack. And that release of moisture vapor inside of the roasting drum can pull a lot of the energy out. It can cool the roasting environment, which in roasting terms, we call a crash. Now, crashing the thermal energy sort of stalls the chemistry that happens at this point in the roast. And it's a really important point within the roasting time. So, roasting this coffee was, well, I was a little tentative with it. The first batch, as you'll see now, didn't perform as I wanted it to. It was still incredibly tasty, but not as good as the second and third batches. And the reason for that is that I understood and knew exactly how to push energy throughout that part of the roast in order to maintain that thermal throughput and the development of beautiful flavor chemistry. So what will I do next time? Well, I'm going to proceed with the second roast in the trio that I've done, and that is about developing that beautiful flavor chemistry throughout the whole roast cycle. You'll note that first crack development time was about 1 minute and 35 seconds, and I'm sort of in a zone now where I'm getting enough inner core development from the bean and the roasting that I can become a bit more aggressive in the end phase of the roast. And it's during this end phase that the majority of the flavor is manifested. Now, I have learnt and I have been researching on other ways to successfully develop the coffee beans inside of an air roaster. And I'll do a separate video on that at some point in the near future. But the roast did a good job, and I feel like it tasted great in the cup. Now you know how I roasted the coffee, let's have a taste and figure out what the aroma profile is as well. So on the nose, you'll note that there is this very prevalent brown, sticky kind of aromatic profile. It's really treacly, and you can just smell that in the cup. Let's see if that transfers into the actual flavor profiling as well. And it absolutely does. Sweetness, a pronounced sweetness. There is a tickle of acidity, but it's really well balanced throughout the whole cup. There's a very prevalent, crisp, transparent, clean, dark chocolate, which gives great structure. And I mean, it's a word I use an awful lot at the minute, but transparency is the thing. It is, and this is all credit and testament to the roaster, the new roaster that I'm on, to be perfectly fair. Just the flavor profiles, I like to think of them as a rainbow, and this is just a rainbow of sticky brown caramelly sweetness and plum notes like Victoria plum. It's an incredibly delicious coffee, and one that I'm incredibly pleased with, to be fair. Now we know how it tastes, how should we brew it? So I think this coffee would be preferable as a filter brew. Most of the coffees that I release on this weekly cadence are very well suited to filter brewing. Why? It's my preferential way of brewing coffee, and this is how I've brewed it today. Because of its stickiness and its sweetness and its balance, it would work well as a cafetiere. You will lose some of the acidity, but you will gain some of the dark chocolate body if you get your grind size correct. And one imagines that because the acidity is refined and balanced, this would work well as espresso. And to be fair, the treacle characteristic from the cup profile would transfer incredibly well with milk. So imagine sweet brown sugars with that sweetness that you get from a full fat milk. That would be a marriage made in heaven, to be fair. In summary, Tumba, this washed Red Bourbon from Rwanda, does exactly what it says on the tin. Dark chocolates, treacle and plum. It's sweet, well balanced, will be versatile for all methods of brewing. I have a preference for filter style brewing because it allows you to be able to view all of these wonderful flavors. But if you want cafetiere or espresso, this will be right up your street. As usual, I hope you enjoy the coffee and come and buy a bag.